So a lot of people are getting into this short-term rental space. And you may be wondering, well, what could possibly happen to cause my short-term rental business to collapse? So in this video, we're going to be talking about exactly why your short-term rental business is going to fail. Here we go. Okay, so you want to get into short-term rentals. And of course, just like any other business, this business can and does come with its own risks. And what we're going to be talking about here in this video is one of the top reasons why your short-term rental can fail and how you could prepare for it. So for one, understand this is a young industry. And because it's a young industry, that means that there are certain issues that we would have to adhere to that we probably wouldn't in a lot of other businesses, and that is ordinances. Since its founding in 2008, Airbnb has made huge changes in the way we book short-term rentals. While providing a valuable service for the traveler, issues with local housing have caused some cities to place restriction on short-term rentals, starting with New York in 2014. So as you can see, it started with New York, but it didn't stop there. And more cities are going to come out with more regulations as we go along in this business model. And as you started with New York, we got Chicago, Seattle, Orlando. I specifically remember when a lot was going on in Austin at the time, where they put such harsh restrictions in Austin that the ruling went all the way up to the Supreme Court, where they had to come back down and come soft on the restriction to where they were able to meet a better middle ground. So this is still kind of a new thing, very pretentious. A lot of marketplaces are still adapting. So we are keeping an eye out. We are noticing that more and more cities, more and more markets are going to come down with certain ordinances. This is why I believe it's very, very important that short-term rental investors in their particular marketplace should get involved with your city, get involved with the people that are having these kind of conversations, because there's definitely still more to come. So it's very important to do your research at the end of the day. And guess what? Google could literally be your best friend when it comes to researching ordinances in your particular marketplace. While short-term rentals can be extremely profitable, the top reason why your short-term rental may fail is because of problems with the law. Once you've identified a property you'd like to acquire, Google short-term rental ordinances in that area to be sure it is in legal zoning. So understand, Google can be all you need to make sure that you do the proper research. So if you do Google short-term rental ordinances and in your particular city, it's going to take you to one or two sites. It's going to take you to either your county clerk site or a different site that governs and has all the information needed that shows you what is going on regarding ordinances in that particular city, in that marketplace. By the way, you have no idea how many hosts fail to do this in the beginning of their journey. How many hosts have started a short-term rental business? They're so excited to start, and they do, and they're doing pretty well, and then they get blindsided because they didn't do this research. Don't let that be you. So on top of just the market research that you're gonna do on Google, you have to do deeper research into that particular city. Because a lot of times, it's not that your city isn't friendly, it's not that your marketplace won't allow you to do short-term rentals, but it's that particular neighborhood, the HOA, the deed restrictions that could put a damper in your plan. So you have to do further research. On top of confirming your market, you have to confirm that whatever condo unit you're in, or townhome community you're in, whatever property that you're looking to rent out, or invest in, I should say, you want to make sure that you do the research, that there are deed restrictions or HOA that might stop you from executing your strategy. So you could find yourself in a situation kind of like I did, to where you're doing everything right, you got permission for the landlord, you signed the right lease agreements, and then HOA comes in the way. In my particular situation, I have been running this unit for 8 months. I'm talking about cash flowing nicely. This property was bringing in grossly or anywhere between $600 to $8,500 a month. And my rent amount was $2,500. So I was really, really loving that cash flow. Then of course HOA got involved, and they were complaining about, this property, based on our bylaws, this and this and that. So I had to go in, look at their bylaws, research it. We found some kind of discrepancies, the way some things were worded. So we decided to go toe to toe with the HOA. I'm here to tell you right now, I don't think that's a good idea on any level. Going toe to toe with HOA on the legal side is just going to cost you more money, right? It's just going to cost you more time. And in most cases, you're not even going to win that case. By the time you're done with it, you're not even going to want to operate in that property, in that particular area anymore. So I say, go where you want it. right? Do the research. Make sure that if you're looking to get in the area, do the research. Make sure HOA, deed restrictions will be an issue. Go where you are wanted. Trust me when I tell you. Here's what I want you to understand about regulations. They're not all bad. Just because all this stuff is going on with short-term rentals doesn't mean that regulations are a bad thing. While some regulations make it nearly impossible to run in short-term rental business, cities requiring permits or charging extra taxes can actually be a benefit to your business. These type of regulations discourage those who aren't fully committed and weed out lesser competition. You know, when we started driving cars, when cars were first invented, this is just an example, because when cars were first invented, as you can imagine, there were no regulations, people just driving all willy-nilly, you didn't have to have a license. And so as a lot of people were a lot of bad things were happening. People were driving all crazy. There were no real, like, it was a wild, wild west. So then they came down with the regulations, of course. Now you got to have a license. Now you have to stay within these roads. You got to obey these traffic lights. And so certain regulations aren't bad. And in our particular case, regarding short-term rentals, they're not always a bad thing, because what they do is they discourage the wannabes. They discourage the people who just want to do this business to earn a quick buck on Airbnb. Just throw a property up, probably didn't get permission to do it. They just want to earn a quick buck. And it incentivizes those who are actually trying to grow a legitimate business. So when it comes to one thing to keep in mind with regulations, and especially if you're looking to own your short-term rental properties, is that it's a great idea to have a backup plan, to have a plan B. This is why I love purchasing my short-term rentals with long-term rental numbers. That is my backup plan. That is my plan B, because guess what? You never know what could happen in your marketplace. You never know what kind of deed restrictions or ordinances can come down to your marketplace to hinder your strategy. So it's great to have a backup plan, because that way if you need to pivot, you're still gonna be in the green and still cash flowing from that property. So remember, like I'm always mentioning, you hear this stated in multiple videos, I don't care what strategy you exit with in real estate, you make your money when you buy. And by doing it right, the way you buy right with short-term rentals is by buying, even though you exit with short-term rentals, you buy with long-term rental numbers. And that is what's gonna protect you, even if something comes down with ordinances in your particular marketplace. So all in all, don't give up, because the beauty of short-term rentals is that the industry is still being developed and profit is still high. Potential regulation shouldn't dissuade anyone looking to make money in this space, as long as they are making well-researched plays based on data and trends. Understand, this is one of the things you got to realize when it comes to regulations and when it comes to what you want to do within the short-term rental game. Not all cities are bad. Not all regulations are bad. Matter of fact, it's maybe a good idea to go to cities with already established regulations that you know you can operate under, because that's a market that, you know, all right, they have adopted some sense of the short-term rental strategy, and they have adopted it in a way that, okay, it's here to stay now. So, you know, a lot of folks won't look to target markets. Oh, well, I want to target markets with no regulations. Well, honestly, maybe a good idea to target some markets that actually has regulations that govern short-term rentals that you know you can still operate as a business in. So as you can see, one of the top reasons your short-term rentals will fail is due to regulations. And yes, you can avoid that by doing the right research. So if you saw value in this video, do me a solid, like the video, subscribe to the channel, and of course, do yourself a favor and tune into the next video as well.